Hello, all you gorgeous people. Welcome to Indigo Tarot Odyssey, and thanks again for all your lovely, sweet hugs through your words and your beautiful comments. They really reinvigorate me to do more and more. I mean, I got to spend some great time outside today and do volleyball and go for a stroll and finish some private reads. And then I just, when I had a gap, I had an idea, and I'm like, I just really want to do this. And Sunday, when it's sort of leisurely and, you know, a beautiful pace, I'm like, let's get some more cool topics. And you guys are so smart with your lovely ideas for topics as well, and how you share. I really appreciate it. But I had this one idea, because a lot of people are like, well, what card represents me? So I'm going to do a pick a card. I want you to pick. Number 1 is going to be serendipity, 2 is milk and honey, and 3 is exchange and gifts. And then I'm going to throw down a card, and this is going to be the card that represents you. And I'm actually going to tell you what I think, and then I'm going to read it verbatim out of the Line Strider book, because they have lovely explicit details and adjectives and things that just make it really, really an effective learning tool. And also, I like that too. Sometimes I would just pick one card for myself if I was having a certain kind of day. I'm like, what is the energy of the day type of thing. But if you could have one card describe you sort of as a person and how you're feeling now, what would it be? So I'm going to have one card be on each. Number 1 is going to be serendipity. Number 2 is going to be milk and honey. And number 3 is going to be exchanging gifts. Okay. So I'll give you a sec to choose the word or the phrase that appeals to you. And we'll flip it over, because I really want you guys to learn. Look at that. 7 of Pentacles. Nice. Okay. So I'm going to read this right after, and it's funny sometimes how certain people have interpretations of cards. And I always, when I was younger and I didn't know a lot about tarot, I always thought that the coins and pentacles were literally like, that's the amount of money that was coming your way or whatever, you know, like $700 or $7,000. Like, I always equated it with money, and it's funny how it's also your hard work that you put in too. So let's see, I want you guys to know exactly how, because stuff is described so beautifully in this book, I was just like, yeah, 7 of Pentacles. So the keywords for this is hard work, effort, long-term success, family, houses, and rewards. So as a type of person, I feel like this is describing you as someone who puts great effort into whatever they're doing. You know what I mean? You set the bar high. You think long term, so you're not like, oh, well, I will use inferior products or quality tools, because you know you get what you put out. You know what I mean? You know you would rather have things that are well made and pay a little more for them, stuff like that. You like quality, and you're willing to put in the effort towards it. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of you people are involved also in real estate, and you understand, like, if you looked at a house, you would know its value through its foundation, through its windows, all those things. Like, you pay attention to those details. So this says, for the 7 of Pentacles, the artist drew a bowerbird building his nest. He thought the bowerbird represented a good example of diligence, a long-term planning, and an old-fashioned hard worker. And this card speaks to long-term efforts and planning and the building of a business, a family, or educational path that will be the foundation of your future success. This is not a get-rich-quick kind of card, but one that encourages you to build strong foundations. It also congratulates you on the rewards of your lengthy efforts, that they will soon garner results. In a relationship reading, and in terms of how you deal with relationships, it speaks to family and future happiness, gatherings rather than quick, passionate flings. So you like long-term relationships. Sometimes this card may appear when you're feeling frustrated that your efforts are not paying off. The 7 of Pentacles encourages you to keep working hard. You may not see it yet, but your efforts will be rewarded. This is especially true when you see the Star card. So if you see it next to it, yeah. Your reading should include, or if your reading includes a 10 or the world, this cycle of hard labor will end soon. That's really cool. Your lucky numbers are 7, 75, 12, and 3. It's associated with birthdays of May 12th and May 22nd. And your associated plants are rhubarb, caraway seeds, and mint. Yeah, so I believe this is definitely a resourceful, intelligent, hardworking person. And the cool thing, I feel like, in your personalities too, you're not looking around at people to notice what you're doing. You could care less. It's simply you're putting in things so you can get your fruits of labor. You're that person in that storybook that is putting away the food for the winter, you know, in the children's story, that is preparing for a cold, bleak winter. You'll have plenty of food, you'll have plenty of lumber and fire, because you're like the proverbial Boy Scout, that you know how to prepare for things, you know what I mean, and to have available resources when you need them, but also that you will work and stay and finish the job. So you're super industrious. That's lovely. That's lovely to have as a personal card. Fantastic. Ooh, 9 of Wands. Very cool. I love this fox. He reminds me of the Fantastic Mr. Fox is like my son's favorite movie, and I love it as well. I love all the lessons in it, and like when I like how they eat their toast 100 miles an hour. We would laugh so hard when they do that, because they'd gobble the toast, and I swear, me and my son have probably watched that thing like 10 times, and it's so funny. So let's see what the book says about this, because I love the explicit detail is lovely. Let's see what's going on. I'm going to shut this thing off over here. I don't know, my device is going mental. The key words of this is you're resilient, you have a lot of strength, when you're wounded but not conquered, and you hold your ground. Yeah, you see how he's got those wands all behind him, and he's in that stance where you're comfortable, you know what I mean? You don't really mind conflict so much because you don't actively seek it out, but when it comes to you, you're ready to face it. Yeah, you don't seek out battles, but you're more than prepared if they pay you a visit. So the 9 of Wands is a card that shows a man, or a fox man, it says, who is injured but still upright. They are standing in front of 9 wands, an indication that they have accumulated some wealth, some experience, and some status, but now they have to defend it. It's often a message that encourages you to keep sight of your interests. Be ready to stick up for yourself or to defend your position or assets. Draw on your experiences and hard-earned lessons. In a reading, this card may indicate that you are facing some challenges and you must marshal your strength to hold your ground. This card may be warning you that unexpected setbacks may be coming your way, but you're not discouraged. You have exactly what it takes to get through any of these battles. This is especially true if the card manifests and it's near a strength card. Yeah, that is very true. Sometimes this card appears to foretell or speak of a recent illness that you are now getting over, or of someone who has it that is close to the querent. The card sometimes says to be cautious and a risk-averse approach is needed. So what I see in that, and it was just sort of speaking to me out loud, is investment purposes. If somebody is coming at you, something sounds so wonderful, to simply step back and really investigate that. Because sometimes, you know, we believe people have our best interests and that everybody's on the up and up. But yeah, I feel like if anything is a high-risk investment, it should be researched a little further. But yeah, this is also that you have accumulated wealth in a certain position in the world. And sometimes you have to just defend your stuff, you know what I mean? Because people like to sometimes chip away at people that they hold in high regard if they are less aware or awake, you know what I mean? It's just part of society at times. It's unfortunate. I mean, you'll see it in a lot of cases in terms of like actresses, when the competition is high, you know what I mean? They will try to point out each other's faults to sort of elevate their position. And I feel like you do have a few people around you at times that want to compete with you, and you're just absolutely sick of it. It's really resonating loud in my head that, yeah, you're tired of people trying to compete with you, because people should really only be in competition with their last results and try to do better than that, you know, as a human being, as a giving, loving human being. So yeah, it doesn't matter too. I feel like anybody that's trying to compete with you is going to suffer by comparison anyway, so they might as well just throw in the towel and calm the hell down anywho. You know those people, and they can't even give you a kudos, because every time you say, oh yeah, I went for a 2-mile run, they'll have to go, oh, I went for a 4-mile run. You know those people, they just have to chirp in with the bigger, better deal. You're like, why are we even here on the earth to just compete with each other? It's so exhausting, right? Yeah, I stay far, far the hell away from those people. When my children were young, I could not get away from the moms who were like, oh, well, Henry and Reginald already speak 17 languages, and they are, let's see, one is already in the Olympics, even though he's only 6 months old. And yeah, they're just ridiculous. You know what I mean? Every time you say, oh, it's so cute, India just had some solid food or whatever. Oh, Reginald can make his own 9-course dinner, and you know, it's, yeah, they come out with things, and a lot of them, you know, are hugely exaggerated because the age of the child, that'd be an impossibility, but you simply nod your head. And it's so weird how that competition comes in, that they're like basically saying my kid is better than yours, and it sounds so idiotic to me that I would just laugh. I'd be like, peace out. Yeah, those mommies groups, they can be very taxing. So if you're involved in them, just look at it for the humorous thing it is. Okay, 7 of Swords. And this is funny, we just did a tutorial on why cards can be in certain, they can be perceived as being unfortunate cards, or they can be perceived, you know, and some have fear attached to them, like the devil and things like that. But a lot of times they're simply teaching cards, you know, there's always a lesson that's to be learned in that. And in this one, I see this too. This is, if this is your card, I think this is what you need to be wary of and is around you at this thing. Because the keywords in this are diplomacy, tact, and honesty. And defending against dishonesty, quarreling, and duplicity in people's hidden motivations. So I feel that you're very aware of people's motives. You have high emotional intelligence, and you are aware of what others are doing. You know, when you just have that person, they think they're so slick and they're always pulling stuff over on people to elevate themselves because they're insecure or something of that nature, and everybody knows it's that type of person. And I feel like you're mellow enough where you're like, whatevs, you know, just let them be delusional themselves and let them carry on that way. You don't feel like you have to call everybody out or draw attention to it, you know. It's like, just because you're wearing a watch, you don't have to let everybody know what time it is, for sure. Now, this card often comes up when the querent or someone in their life is trying to get away with something. In this case, I feel like you have some family members that are trying to get away with things, you know what I mean? Just a little dicey, not so bad, but they're trying to take some credit that belongs to you, things of that nature, you know what I mean? It's also called the win at any cost card, where, look at them, they win, but they're running away so quickly they're dropping the swords with them. So in a relationship reading, this card may point to a little dishonesty as well. Are you having, is somebody that you're involved with, or yourself, you know, lying about something because you feel guilty about it, undermining the foundations of your relationship. Sometimes it's white little lies. Sometimes people have weird little addictions, you know, they like to gamble, they like to go do things in their spouses. I personally knew of some females that would shop a little too much during the day or go over budget, so they'd hide things in their cars. I feel like this is trivial matters like that. Like, you just don't want to engage in tit for tat and be aggravated. So I feel like if you spend a certain amount, you simply don't announce it and put it on blast. You know what I mean? I feel like it's very, very chill. And also, whoever is doing this, you can be sure that their sins will be found out. Whatever they're doing, the sneaky people that are around you. I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee because, let me see. Yeah, I mean, it's always the cost of any duplicitous behavior or burning of bridges or torching of relationships is a karmic happenstance. So it will always come back around, because people act different, right? When they're guilty or they've done something dishonest, they can't quite look you in the eye. They become fidgety. There's a ton of tells when people do that. Here's the crazy thing. Out of my 2 children, one turns bright red and can't lie to save their life. The other one is a stone cold killer liar. I'm like, shit, you should be in film. I can't believe you just, yeah. And when you know, and they're still like, and they kind of know, you know, but they still do it, you almost want to let them just pull it off, because you're like, that is some fine acting for sure. You know what I mean? But you also, I feel like you have strong messengers around you that let you know when you're being deceived, which is really cool. So, yeah, people are just trying to take credit for something that is yours. That's exactly what this is. So, you're a person who, you know, you're aware, but it's not going to drive you, it doesn't drive you crazy, because you're not, you know, you think it's small-minded when people do like that, and you don't want to give your energy over, which is beautiful. You know what I mean? That's a very elevated way to be, very awoke way to be. And associated birthdays with this card is October 28th to November 1st. Your associated plants are wood betony and dogbane. And your numbers are 7 and 61. You know, and it's also telling you to just drop all the baggage. The old swords that are no longer battle worthy can just stay behind too for you, so you can face your future bravely. But watch out for people, any of you guys that might be engaging in a tiny bit of dishonest behavior, whatever, at work, you know, calling in. It's very easy to get busted when it's this time of year. Things just get found out. The veil is thinner. Guides are warning everybody of misdeeds to keep everybody happy, safe, and sound and vibrating higher. So depending how that is, but just, you know, it's just people basically being petty and trying to sort of take credit for what's yours. So, yeah, and you're aware, you know, you're awoke and aware. So those are pretty neat. So those can be representative of your personalities at times. It may not resonate with everybody, but I thought that was a really cool idea. I mean, I don't think I've seen it done before. I haven't really read, watched a lot of other readers. I have a few people, and if you guys want a couple of hints, if you haven't seen She Bear, she's beautiful. Lovely, lovely English reader. I love her to death. What is, you know, She Bear is Irish, and then the English reader, I don't know, I'm going to have to look up her thing. But also, yeah, I'm going to have a list, because there's a few that are just like, wow, they really resonate and they're beautiful. And also Dara Doe, she's fantastic. Very, very solid, down to earth, and she's very gifted as well. So let's do a quick, I want to do a quick oracle card for each of you too. We'll say this oracle card is representative of your nature. I really like, I love these cards right here too. It's like, oh, these are the ones I always left in my card, and on my break I would look at them and they just brought me down to earth. I'd keep them in a wooden box with a crystal. So I hope some of you guys also are making a manifestation box now, bag and or jar, where you're just putting, if you have little sticky notes, again, I am abundant, I am receiving love, I am receiving offers, I am expanding my job opportunities, I am being receptive to other people's energies and working with them, I am leaving things that don't serve me behind. All those little things. Okay, you guys, start manifesting, because it's really working. Okay, no place like home. Aww, a change is in the wind. And chopping wood. Beautiful. Okay, so when we go like this, you are a cute little homebody and you like to be at home. You like to have your little creature comforts. I believe you guys are big pet people. I believe you love your cats. When you walk in the door, you're excited to see them, relax, have a warm cup of tea or coffee. You're very homey. You have a very relaxing atmosphere in your home. You know what I mean? I feel like it's very lush and welcoming. Yeah, I feel like you like candles, that whole thing. You like things that smell really good. Beautiful, yeah. And a change in the wind. So this can be representative of our nature. I feel like you're a mutable sign, probably a fire sign that you can basically fit in anywhere. You, if it's a gregarious, fun place, you join on that level. If it's quiet and serious and elegant, you join in on that level. And you're chill and you observe, so you blend in beautifully, and you like these experiences. You're flexible, and it's going to do you wonders in this life, because being flexible is just the way to keep you young and invigorated, because you don't break under the pressure of thinking you have to be one way. And nobody ever has to be one way. People can be in the best damn mood, hear one thing and switch. You know what I mean? You're allowed your moods. You're allowed to do whatever the hell you want. You're an individual. You owe nobody nothing. You know what I mean? You owe yourself peace of mind, and you can go whatever you want. You know what I mean? You can decide one day that you want to be a painter, switch the next day and decide you want to be a groundskeeper or work at the zoo. Any of those things. It is your choice. So again, when you decide, I believe you're mutable and you do change your mind a lot. I feel like you have lots of things you're interested in. You're allowed to change your vocation and direction anytime you want. You know what I mean? I feel like you like a lot of variety, and you like to experience a lot, which is beautiful. And chop wood, I believe you're a very hard worker. This is the old Japanese adage, haul water, chop wood. Sometimes when you're just doing your everyday activities and your work, house cleaning, whatever you're doing, your daily, it's called the daily grind, but it's basically whatever you're experiencing during the day that you usually do. you are now going into your sacred space of your head, and you're wondering, is this my true calling? What do I feel like when I'm doing this thing? Is this my true purpose? Is this something I love? And I read this great article on our true purpose. We try not to overwhelm ourselves with that. Our true purpose can change any day. It can be what makes us feel good at that moment, and what we're excelling at, and what we get gratification from. That's our true purpose. To experience life, that's what it is. And Chopwood, you can have any experience you want while you're doing your little daily rituals. If you're cleaning your house, you can literally be at Disney World in your head. You know what I mean? How sometimes you just trip that light fantastic, and you experience all these lovely journeys in your head. I have to sometimes reconnect to come back down to earth when I realize there's others around in the house too, because I am literally designing things in my head. I am at like the Guggenheim. I am anywhere. I am climbing the Spanish Steps. I am visiting all these places. Venice is next on my bucket list, and I'm constantly in a gondola going up and down there. Really, I have really good visualizations. And sometimes people look at me and they're like, why do you look like you're not even here? And I'm like, because I'm not. This isn't the best place to be right now. Venice is, I'll see you later. Especially if I'm somewhere and there's too many people with too many emotions going on around me. Boom, I have to get out of there in my mind to be elsewhere. You know what I mean? And it is funny. It's like in those very heavily packed Asian places on trains, they all look very peaceful, right? And they're sort of just like, because they have mind power to place themselves elsewhere in a more pleasant, spacious environment. It's pretty cool, right? Okay, you guys, so that's you guys. I hope you like this experiment. So don't forget to like and subscribe, press that subscribe button, and comment away. Because what card do you imagine yourself at? That's what I want to hear. Let's have a dialogue on that. If you could pick any card, what is that card you imagine yourself being, and why? You know what I mean? Mine is the Queen of Wands, because I just read the thing on it, and I am like certainly that too, that I can change the entire mood of a room. I am super giving and generous, and I will lift the energy of the room, and I will be so giving and generous. But if something happens in my mainframe that throws me off, and there's a lot of chaos around me, or I've just heard very bad news, I can literally change the temperature of the room and suck the oxygen out of it. And people don't understand why I'm not smiling. That's the thing too, because I'm always so ebullient and happy and cheerful, that when I'm not, it's almost like people are afraid. Like when I would work, people wouldn't even approach me if I wasn't smiling, because you know that darkness overtakes your face. It's just severe concentration, but it's actually frightening to some people. And I don't like to have that effect, because I feel like it's almost, you know, like witchy or eerie or something. But it's not. It's, I have to remove myself, because when you don't want to be approached, you create that thing. You know what I mean? So tell me what card you think is you, and I'll be really interested to know. Okay, thanks you guys. Have a good night.